likely one of your favorites growing up as a child, and if you're like me, an 80s child, you probably loved Gizmo and had a toy or two. You also own the movie, and it's not with your horror collection. I'm betting it's with those 80s flicks you keep as nostalgic kickbacks. I can't say enough about this film. It's a lot of playful fun, some minor horror to it, and a creative storyline. I had fun looking into this film, even finding some random things like Mogwai. What Gizmo is, it actually means demon in Cantonese. I guess that sums him up. Cute package with a lot of danger. I love Phoebe Cates playing Kate Berenger. I admit, I had a thing for Phoebe after Drop Dead Fred. Corey Feldman is even in this, his second role in a major film. This is pure 80s classic. I know I stress the era, but really, I think of all the great flicks that came out of that decade, and it was one of the best. This film was actually released in a rush in order to compete with Ghostbusters and a couple other films at the time. Also interesting to note that they shot this film at the same location as Back to the Future. I know some of you are thinking Gremlins, but it's not a horror, is it? And I know what you're saying. It actually falls under 3 genres: fantasy, horror, and comedy. So, although I wouldn't argue with someone claiming it wasn't, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. So here's Steven Spielberg's 1984 classic, Gremlins. We start off in China, narrated by Mr. Peltzner, looking for a toy for his boy, in the weirdest store imaginable. And what's with all the candles? He's trying to sell some odd bathroom device, and he hears Gizmo humming, or singing, or something like that. Personally, I'd be asking a few questions before jumping out and buying it. This little Chinese boy gives him Gizmo, and then gives him 3 rules. 1, no sunlight, it kills him. 2, don't give him water. And 3, never feed him after midnight. Now, one moment. Sunlight kills him, that's fine, so he's part vampire or whatever. The water thing I'll touch back on in a bit. But okay, you can't feed him after midnight. How does this work logically? When is it okay to start feeding him? Like 12:03? How about 4:30? And it's always midnight somewhere. So I don't really get it. So he's got the Mogwai and he's heading home with the 3 rules. And the whole thing seems rational so far to him. Meet Sheriff Frank and Pete, Corey Feldman, in a tree trying to make some sales. One beef though, the snow in this film, although nice, it looks kind of fake. It's just too stiff. And not to bitch, but Billy's car is smoking, and it's a Volkswagen, and they're air-cooled, so I don't know why it's smoking. Also, about the snow, there's no snow on any of the hoods of the cars, or anywhere. There's no salt stains on the car either. We meet Phoebe Cates, or Kate Berenger, at Billy's work. She's so cute. Play your cards right, Billy. Meet Mrs. Deagle, classic Scrooge character. I'm not sure if they were actually going for Scrooge, but it's a spot-on match. She's actually more shrill. Miss Deagle tells Billy that she's going to kill his dog, brutally, just for wrecking her snowman. Yeah, she's a bitch, and I love it. Barney has balls, though, and gives her a little shake-up. Billy gets razzed by a jackass co-worker at a bar about having to help his family out with money. Hoyt Axton is great as the dad in this, and he plays it so well. He gives the big gift to his son. His son opens the box, and Gizmo's head slowly comes up. Isn't he cute? The father then gives him the 3 instructions I mentioned earlier, and again, it's accepted as normal. Now, if somebody gave me a dog and said, keep it off grass or it'll like explode into marbles, I'd be asking questions. There's a whole lot of long scenes I won't go into, just basically Billy bonding with Gizmo. It's a whole bunch of cute, but not that important to the plot. The dad's inventions are actually pretty funny, they never work, and when Billy tries to make orange juice, it completely explodes, although I don't know why there's so much juice, because he only used 1. Pete is in Billy's room and finds Gizmo, and more cute stuff ensues. Pete spills water on Gizmo, and to their amazement, 5 more of them pop out. Billy tells his dad about how they multiply with water, and his dad is figuring a way to peddle this into some cash somehow. Billy wakes up in the middle of the night and finds his dog dangling from Christmas lights. He blames it on Mrs. Deagle. Unknowingly, it's his new pets. Billy takes Gizmo to the lab to get him checked out. He does the water thing on him, and another one pops out. And hey, check it out, carolers, jolly assholes. Billy and Kate are walking, and I gotta hand it to Billy. He manned up and asked her out. Hook, line, and sinker, Billy. The lab guy is starting an experiment on Gizmo, and Billy wakes up to gremlin cocoons, which kinda look like the cocoons from Alien. Take a look. He realizes the Mogwai have pulled a fast one, but he's kinda lost as to why. The gremlins later bust out of their cocoon and welcome the gremlins. Pretty badass looking. The lab guy / teacher or whatever is looking for the gremlin somewhere in the classroom. He gets his hand bitten, and then later Billy finds him dead on the floor. He didn't know what he was messing with. The gremlin taunts and scares Billy a bit and then makes a getaway. And poor Gizmo, being used on the dartboard, he's utterly helpless. Billy calls to his mom to warn her. The gremlin's now hiding all over the house. The mom is under siege. The mom goes Rambo on them, taking one out in the blender. Then she knives one down. That's cold. Then she takes another one out in the microwave, so she's top dog in this flick. Billy gets home on time, gets a sword, and mows one down for his mom. I love that part. Stripe takes off outside, and I'd like to take a moment to mention something that doesn't make a lot of sense. Mogwai can't touch water or else they multiply. Last I checked, snow was water, and they also drink pop, which is water-based. So what's the deal? Anyway, back to the movie. Billy goes back to the house and finds Gizmo stuffed in a clothes hamper or something. Billy heads off to find Stripe, I assume to destroy him. He follows him into the YMCA and Stripe jumps into a pool of water. Big trouble. Billy books it to the cop station, but they pretty much laugh him out when he explains that thousands of gremlins are coming. So the gremlins are out and causing trouble wherever they go, even stealing this guy's tractor. One fooling around with the traffic lights, you get the idea. They're all over town. So then the gremlins start to carol for Miss Deagle, and where they got the booklets for this, I have no idea. Spike messes with her electronic chair, she sits in it, and zoom, she flies up the stairs and out the window in one of the most hilarious kills I've ever seen in any film, period. Also, when Pete cuts the Christmas lights when fighting the gremlins, the line's cut, but why do the lights stay on? The gremlins are messing up the bar where Kate works at. Fun scene, but why is Kate still attempting to serve them like regulars? The bar scene goes on for a while, I guess showcasing the puppets. Isn't no CGI just way better to watch? Billy rescues Kate from the bar, and what do you know? Car trouble. Every single movie, car trouble. So they make a run for it, and the town is in shambles. Just gremlins everywhere. Kate tells Billy about her dad going down a chimney and then slipping and dying by breaking his neck, which is just ridiculous. It's depressing and has nothing to do with the movie, and she may as well have just given a soup recipe. It's that pointless of a scene. They find all the gremlins in the theater, tearing stuff up, same old stuff. Billy opens the gas line to start a fire to blow them all away. They book it, and about 20 seconds worth of gas blows the place to shit and sets them on fire. Stripe, they see, was not in the explosion, and they were on a race to get him before he gets into water. Billy and Stripe battle it out in the store for a while, kind of a cat and mouse thing. And just to mention, when Stripe goes after Billy with the chainsaw, this is actually a tribute to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from the filmmakers, or so I read. Stripe found a fountain and is about to hop in and make more trouble when Gizmo saves the day, exposing him to sunlight and no more gremlins. So, in the end, the Chinese guy shows up and gives a speech that Yoda would kind of give Obi-Wan. And although I don't know how he knew where they lived, he walked off down the road, and that's Gremlins. So after looking at this film, it really hits a home run in any of the genres you prefer to categorize it in. I like to think of it as a dark comedic Christmas time of year movie. And I know this is a horror movie review show, but I thought that this film deserved a peek. It had a lot of imagination, and like I mentioned, no CGI, and I have an appreciation for that kind of work. So overall, I'd have to give this classic a 9 out of 10, especially for appealing to so many people. This is Pat for HMRG. Remember to sub for updates, and take care.